All right. Hi, Leslie. We're here with Leslie
Hello.
Potter, founder of Pure Joy Parenting, and I am now a certified Pure Joy parent coach. So I am really grateful to have Leslie here for the Own for the Holidays Summit. So she's going to tell us all about herself and what her unique family looks like to start off. Thanks so much.
You are so welcome, love. I'm so happy to be here supporting your offering to the world. It was Tanya was in my last coach training, and now she's doing the group coach training. And it's such a delight to see you and the expansion that you've had in your family. So thank you for inviting me and also showing up so beautifully for Pure Joy. So you know a little bit, I was a wild bohemian child traveling the world, doing music, singing, acting. And I woke up around 40 and went, oh my God, I forgot to be a mother. And that was one thing I always wanted to be, was a mom. So at 44, I traveled to China as a single mom and adopted my daughter. So we have a very unique family, and it's just the two of us. And yet we live in co-housing. So I moved to co-housing when she was 8, so I could create a larger family for her. I don't have I have a brother and a sister. Both my parents were only children. So I only have a brother and a sister, and we love each other. But like I say, if I get a phone call, I think somebody died. So, so I didn't have a lot of experience as a child of having, all we had was that nuclear family, and it was pretty fractured and intense. So I didn't really have a lot. I mean, we had some rituals and things in our family, but I just really had to just be with my daughter and find out that none of that was really going to serve me that well if I couldn't really show up and be present and be alive to whatever was being asked for in the moment versus trying to create something, rules or rituals or anything that we could relax into, because I really didn't have that. Yeah. So in my family, it's very, very different. I'll give you an example of like a Christmas thing. We would open Christmas presents on Christmas Eve, because that's what my family did do, and then have Santa on Christmas. And when my daughter was young, she could just hardly wait, right? And it was like, well, we need to wait. And then I was just like, why don't we open a present every day, kind of like in Hanukkah, right, at the week of Christmas? Because otherwise we opened everything on that one day, and it was just, she threw stuff out. So we started opening a present every day the week of Christmas.
I love that. That's what's happening right now. Is Tegan, my son, he's 5 right now, and we're wrapping things and putting on the tree, and like different family members, and he is just in the mode where he cannot wait. He's like, how many? I want to open. When is it again? And so it hasn't got to the point where it's like, okay, let's open some, or because we have the little thing we move down, and we've been making cookies to count down. So I like that excitement myself. But yeah, why? Who says you can't?
That's what I say. And then people say, well, they need delayed gratification. I'm like, but she's 5, he's 5,
Yeah, there's
what about the
life.
desire? Yeah. And why not spread out that gratification? That's what it finally came for me. Well, let's just spread it out. And it was nice for me too, because I don't like getting everything at once. I got to relish it for a day before I went to the next thing. Yeah. So all of my parenting, since we're not traditional, we don't sit down at the table, we don't eat dinner, we go to friends for Christmas and Thanksgiving where we do that. But in our home, we don't, because it's just the two of us. So it was very challenging for me and exciting, because I read all the books. You're supposed to have family time, and you're supposed to have rituals, and you're supposed to have this, but that wasn't what we were doing. That wasn't our experience in the home. So I had to choose, or didn't have to, but I chose to come more and more into following the flow of what was being asked. So I'll give you an example of this year. My daughter's 21, and usually I'm the one that decorates the tree, and I get mad because she doesn't want to do it with me, because I try to have some kind of ritual thing. And this year I just was like, you want to put up the tree? He's like, yeah. 2 or 3 days later, she's the one pulling the boxes out. She's the one putting the lights and decorating the tree and going through all the little ornaments that we've gotten over the years. She even went out. I love it. She bought a cheese and crackers and bought me a little thing of champagne for us to do it. You know, I'm like, okay, I guess this is what we're doing this year.
Yeah, no, working with you, I've noticed that too. When I stepped back from my agenda, and
Yes.
there's that space for them to come in and do it their way.
Yeah.
So.
And it's so beautiful then. It's like she's creating her, offering to me, you know, a new space. So yeah, that's kind of what I learned to do. And it probably was because it was just the two of us, because I couldn't create. If I'd had that big family, I probably would have been miserable trying to create all the festivities and pushing everybody into it.
Yeah, that's
But
the life I came from growing up, for sure.
Yes, exactly. Mine too. We had 4 kids, and it was always like everybody's disappointed if it didn't turn out. So I kind of had the opportunity to release that. And as I like to say, you know, my daughter will not be able to tell people she had a mom that cooked, you know, great meals and we sat down at the table and all of those things. But she'll be able to say, I had a mom that was happy. I had a mom that loved what she was doing. She showed up in her life. And, you know, I didn't have a mom that was always screaming and stressed because things weren't going the way she wanted. And that was the gift I wanted to give her. So if I can give anybody, you know, if anybody's watching this before the holidays, if I can give to you, you know, your children attune to your energy. You are the thermometer in the house. So it's wonderful to have the big celebrations and all the things. And maybe just ask yourself, is your energy really wanting to do that? Or is it something that you feel like you have to do to create some ritual in your family? We have parenting templates that we break. Why don't we break our ritual templates and see? And some of them may come. And if they do, and if you feel joy and it's easy, go for it. But if you feel pressure and the should and the and you're trying to force everybody into it, maybe give yourself a little break this year.
We're so bombarded with social media too, with all the different ideas people have, matching pajama Christmas Eve, or the elf on the shelf, and those things never felt like me. So really asking ourselves what feels good.
Yeah. And it may be sitting around, you know, in the bed watching TV with your kids, watching a Christmas movie, and your mind will go crazy. You'll go, I got to do that because I'm blah, 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 blah. The best memories my daughter and I ever had was when I was sick one spring break, and we just laid in the bed, ate pizza, and watched movies. And it was better than going to New York City or wherever we were going to argue and fight, because I had this agenda of how I was supposed to go.
Are there certain things that you definitely developed over the years that you both love to do now as part of your own? No, it changes every year.
Well, my daughter, I adore my daughter and she adores me, and we don't really like the same things. So we don't really, like, I want to go to museums and I want to go out to eat, and she doesn't really enjoy that. She wants to be down in her room and she wants to be watching her shows and going out with her friends. And so, you know, when I finally got over my feelings being hurt, we always laugh. We have friends, like, you go on vacation and you see the picture and you're going, we're going to have a good time, damn it. Yeah, that's like what the picture's saying. And everybody's like this. And so I finally surrendered, you know, that wasn't what love really was for me. Unconditional love is about, for me, living to my fullest and then supporting my daughter to live to her fullest. So our love sometimes it's warm and ooey gooey and soft when I'm making her mac and cheese and she thinks, you know, I'm the best. But most of the times we have a deeper unconditional love that like, I'm getting ready to go on a month away trip on in an RV. I bought an RV with my friends, and we're going to go away in January. And my daughter's like, you're going to be home alone for a month. And she's kind of like, really? So when I'm going to be gone a month, that's when it kind of shows up that she just loves my presence. And that's what I learned with my daughter. The more present and happy and alive I could be, she feels that, just like I feel her presence. But I surrendered all my personal fantasies because they just weren't happening in our home. And I can tell you, my daughters love me more unconditionally than any other human in the world. Conditionally, no. And that was kind of what I thought I wanted. And actually, the unconditional gave me this work, inspired this work. How can I unconditionally love myself when I don't even like myself at times, right?
Yeah.
The beauty, as you know, of this work.
Yes, it's life-changing.
Yeah.
So part of the reason I wanted to have the Om for the Holiday Summit is to highlight just how different our families can look, and that what is conscious parenting? What does it even mean? It's hard to define it. So I don't know if you have a good definition that you go by that you want to share with people, because this is kind of a sneak peek into my conscious parenting community, where we all come together with whatever comes to our community.
Well, for me, conscious parenting is being aware of what is living inside of me internally. And so I consciously become aware of my internal experience, when my stories, my beliefs, my feelings. So instead of just acting out externally and looking for a book that says, this is how you parent and this is what you do, and it never worked for me, those things didn't happen. So conscious parenting for me means that I go in and I take personal responsibility for my internal experience. Mm-hmm. And I don't blame it on my daughter, and I don't blame it on the world. Of course I do. I mean, I have all of that comes up, but then I have a process called the safe seat, which I'm sure you'll be teaching, where I begin to go in and take personal responsibility for my internal world. And that meaning bringing consciousness to it, not judgment to it, not beat up to it, not any of that, but just bringing, oh, look at that. I just yelled at my daughter because I felt rejected and abandoned. Oh, honey, of course you did. You didn't know how to do anything else. You forgot that you could come back in and love yourself. So consciousness to me encompasses the whole, where sometimes I think in conscious parenting, we get the idea that we're always supposed to be happy. We're always supposed to be nice. We're always supposed to be loving. We're always supposed to be kind. It didn't happen for me. We're always supposed to connect. Yeah. Well, then we leave out healthy separation. So I started recognizing my connection was engulf. I was like, taking over my daughter. And so there she held the separation. She was like, get out of here. So I began consciously learning and knowing myself of how hard it was to set healthy boundaries, how hard it was to feel rejected, and just consciously aware of how I am with myself. Yeah. And when I'm with myself in a kind, loving way, for whatever happens, of course I show up that way as a parent.
Yeah, it's hard work. I have to tell you, everybody that's listening, I read all the books. I was doing all that stuff, right? And not until you're in the moment do you realize you don't have the strategies that you thought you had. And so the safe seat, we'll put the link to the 5-day mini course in the description of this video for anybody that wants to download it. And for me, it really helped to work face-to-face with somebody. And that's what this community can really help. If you're jumping into my community, it's just a place to have that face-to-face interaction, because I did do the Safe Seat mini course, and it's hard to integrate unless you're practicing. So
and it's for me, when I create spaces, because I create small groups and everything, and it's an opportunity for us to actually be seen, heard, and understood in our darkness, also in our shadow, and to recognize that we're not going to be outed. When we were children, we couldn't get new parents. So we had to be one-sided. We had to choose to behave in a way that got us the love that we needed. So then we come into our lives, and then, for me, I was behind closed doors. I was feeling so much shame because I was acting out, but out in front of everybody, I was like pretending like I was the best parent in the world. So these communities, like your membership, it's a place where you can come and, just feel what it's like to re-own the parts of yourself that you that healthily had to as children repress, so that you could fit into your family.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. And if you want to work with Leslie, you can find her links in the description of the video too. Like she said, she has the small groups. She has tea times every other week. And Pure Joy Parent Coach Training, which is
It's
a beautiful community to be a part of if this is something you're interested in doing yourself for other parents. So.
It's kind of the full kahuna because you do your personal work in there as well as learn how to offer it to others. But it's not just a teaching course, as you know.
I can't stress enough finding your community. So thank you so much, Leslie, for being part of mine.
You're so welcome, sweetheart. Always happy to be here and support you and all that you're doing.
Thank you so much. We'll say bye for now.
All right. Happy holidays.
Yes, happy holidays, everyone.